Good morning, and welcome again to Porch Puppy Comics, where if you can't run with the big dogs, stay on the porch. I'm KJ with you this morning, and this is episode 23, New to Me Comic Book Day Wednesday. And we thank the Lord again for you tuning in, community, and we ask that you like, share, subscribe, comment, send your comments in, and we just enjoy doing it. I enjoy doing it. It's fun. I enjoy not only showing the books, but I also enjoy sharing the scriptures with you, because like I said beforehand, and I say it at the end of every episode, only Jesus can fill that void that's in your soul. And I know he can do it. And I know that the Lord is able, because he done it for me, y'all. He done it for me. So, at this picture that you're looking at is an old picture. Gentleman by the name of Atlas. Just something I threw together a while ago, and just touched it up a little bit here and there. And it's just one of those oddball type pictures. I know I had some folks was telling me that they like the pictures and different things that they show. And like I said, I don't consider myself an artist by no means. I just like drawing whenever I get the opportunity. I've got a picture that I've drawn of Jesus Christ sitting on his throne with everything that he has to offer. And he's offering the world. He's offering those that'll come to him, that'll give their life to him, that'll come on and serve him in these last and evil days. And he has his head in his hand. And the name of that picture is Why Grieve the Lord Jesus. And I've had people wanting to take the picture and put it on their back as a tattoo. I told them, no, it's not for that. It's not for that. But maybe I'll put that picture up here. Maybe Lord bless this Saturday during the Pickle Barrel Saturday. But as I say, this is New to Me Comic Book Wednesday. Y'all know I had told y'all that I don't buy new books. Try to keep from it. There are sometimes, I said in a previous episode, that I'll make an exception to the rule. I'll bring in, if I find something, especially facsimiles, if I don't have them, I'll go ahead and try to put those and pick those up. So these books I'm showing now, these new ones, I'll let you know when the new books cut off and go right back into, some of the dollar bin, $3, $2 type books, and let you see what I done picked up. But okay, here we go. First two on the docket. Darkwing Duck. I think I got a little bit of a glare there. Let me see if I can take care of that. Don't know. Let's see. Okay. We might have to run with it like that today, y'all. Let me see. Let me try something else here. Hold on just a moment. There we go. Okay, we have Darkwing Duck #1 by Dynamite. Kind of like the character back in the day. I'm not going to pick it up. Just wanted the first issue. You know how weird I am. Again, you're seeing another Flashpoint, but this is a Flashpoint special edition. And that'll go with my Flashpoint, the set, until I can get me an original Flashpoint #1. But I was glad to pick that up. These next two books, facsimiles, in the person of Tomb of Dracula #1 and Amazing Spider-Man 129, first appearance of the Punisher. These books, like I said, they're at a $3.99 price point. And I like it because of the way they got it set up. I'd rather pay a little extra for these than opposed to have the dollar book, plastered across the top and everything. And, I know you can look at it and say, well, we know this is not the original. We're not trying to pass it off as the original. but yet and still these are nice to have, because if you want to read the story and you want to have these books in your collection, and if you can't afford them, this is what you got to do. And I'm just happy with these. And as I was going on, let me do it this way. This was the last facsimile that I picked up. An Invincible Iron Man #1. And I said, well, okay, I'm going to pick that one up because I've had one way back when. A friend of mine used to have one, and he kept it. Well, he kept his in his family Bible to keep it flat. You know, those great big family Bibles. I'm sure those in the community at one time or another, y'all probably had them over at your grandmother's house or something or other. It used to be on the end tables. And he kept his in the family Bible, which I thought was kind of weird. But anyway, here we go. So I was glad to pick those up. The next one, I guess I should have put both of these together. And this was a cover by. Let me drop it down a little bit so y'all can see. Okay. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers TMNT 2. And this is a photo cover. I thought it was pretty cool considering the other ones that they had. Now, will I go back and pick up the set? Maybe. I don't know. I guess I got bit by that Mighty Morphin Power Rangers versus Godzilla run. And these have been good. The story's been good. And from what I've heard from other folks, even with the first iteration of them. So I said, well, we'll just have to see. But then, then we end up with these, folks. TMNT Usagi Yojimbo. #1, 2, and I have issue 3 over here. And a lot of these covers are done by the artist himself. And this is cover A. This is cover A. And I think the third one is cover B. I believe that's done by the Turtles artist. But we collected these back in the day. I had the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles back in the day when they first come out. I don't know what run or what printing it was. But, those was the type of books you didn't really bring out when y'all done a massive trade, because folks was looking at you crazy. Why are you collecting these turtle books? And then in the late 80s, early 90s, there was a big explosion with the all kind of mutant animals. They had the preteen Dirty Jean Kung Fu Kangaroos. There was some kind of teenage mutant gerbils, and I mean, you name it, they was going off the deep end with it. There was something had to do with chameleons at one time or another, and I mean, they just went as far as they could run with it. But the Usagi Yojimbo is I like that one particular one. It's a good story. The art is good, and it's consistent. And TMNT, of course, it's always consistent. So now, will that mean I'm gonna go back and pick up any TMNTs that start collecting them? Nah. But the team ups, I like to go back at one time or another and pick up all 3 iterations of the TMNT and Batman team up books, just because of the team up. That's nothing spectacular. Now let me see here. Let's do it this way. The next 2. Infinity Warps Variant Edition Arachnite. I've been looking for this book. I had it at one time or another, and this one is a variant. I've never had the variant before, done by Kubert. And the whole premise of this is Moon Knight and Spider-Man meshed together. And of course, it's still dealing with the personality issues and different things. And it's a good story, really. So I'm looking to find a number 2, get an issue 2, because they only come out in 1 and 2s, first and second issue. The Invincible number 1 here, I'm not quite sure what this one is, but I like the character Invincible, so I figured I'd go ahead and pick that number 1 up. I'm sure it's some kind of a reprint or something, or rather a facsimile, but I haven't really had a chance to get right into it. And as we're staying with the Infinity Warps, I ended up picking up Infinity Warps Ghost Panther number 1 and number 2, with number 1 being the variant. Interesting setup. Instead of riding a motorcycle or being in a car, he's on a flaming Black Panther. Interesting, to say the least. And it's a good book. Like I said, it's just weirder things, that I pick up. We're going to shift gears and we're going to go into little Neil Adams action going on for you here, folks. Check that out. Now, these Coming of the Superman books, I've found them in dollar bins, and I've always found either 1 and 2 or 2 and 4, never the whole set. And like I said, these books here that I'm showing now, on up until sometime probably next week, I'm splitting them all up, came from York, Pennsylvania. So I was glad to pick these up. And, Neil Adams, he just does great on his covers and different things. And these books are terrific. So that's 1 and 2 of the Coming of the Superman, 3 and 4. Last but not least, 5 and 6. Classic Neil Adams Superman. It's just something about the man's art. If you can't really pick up the original stuff that he done in some of the Batman and other books, I told you, he done some books, back in the 80s. If you can pick them up. Even picking these up is nice. He done a whole run, I think, in the New 52, where he done specialty covers for the books, and those were neat. So if you ever go back and pick those up, those are real nice. And so we at the halfway point, folks. And you know what we do at the halfway point? Yes, you do. Yes, you do. You know what we do. We're coming to you today from Proverbs chapter 16. 3 verses today, y'all. Said the preparation of the heart in man and the answer of the tongue is from the Lord. All the ways of a man are clean in his own eyes, but the Lord weigheth the spirits. 3rd verse, commit thy works unto the Lord, and thy thoughts shall be established. Commit thy ways unto the Lord, community, and your thoughts shall be established. We can't look. When we lean to our own understanding, that's when we mess up. That's when we just and you just keep doing things over and over and over and over. They used to tell us back in the day, and I'm sure you understand, that they used to say that the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over and over and expecting a different result. But I can tell you for surety, if you put your faith and trust in Jesus Christ, if you find yourself a Bible teaching, preaching church where people love and they care for you, and you can come in and they'll let you know what thus say the will of the Lord. People are getting away from it, but I'm trying to tell you, right now you're going to need God more than ever. I lean on him heavily every day. He's the one that I turn to. I thank the Lord for my wife. I thank the Lord for my family. I thank the Lord for my pastor and church family. But, when it comes right down to it, even in the way over in the midnight hour, I know the word says he'll wipe the tears from your eyes. He can give you peace that surpasses all understanding. And, you got to make sure that you prepared, because, see, heaven is a prepared place for prepared people. I'm going to leave you with that today. Let us move on with the book, shall we? All right, we have another character I like in the person of Scarlet Spider. Yes, if you can see, these still have the price stickers on them of what he have here. It's Scarlet Spider. As you can tell with the, I've never read these particular issues, so that's the reason I went on and picked them up, especially these with Craven. I thought these were cool. If I'm not mistaken, when I did started collecting these, I think I only collected the first 5 when they come out. And if I'm not mistaken, I think he had went on and decided he was going to go to Dallas and set up his base of operations. Now, I don't know what happened on that. But anyway, then we have 24 and 25 of the Scarlet Spider. Okay. Next up, I'm trying to get this set. I've got the first 2. And I think I need the Punisher runs, but these are Dark Wolverine versus Frankencastle. This is dealing with the storyline where Dakin was trying to go ahead. He was going to kill kill Punisher. And when he killed him, when he threw him in the sewers, he was picked up by some of the monsters. They sewed him back together like Frankenstein. And then they put the bloodstone in his chest, which gave him the power to do what he needed to do. And so this is Dark Wolverine number 88 and number 89. So I need Punisher 19 and Punisher 20. And I believe that would take care of it, if I'm not mistaken, and of the set, because he ended up going back to being the Punisher, Frank Castle, after all this. And you sometimes you go back and you think about these books, and the cover art, I think, is done by Biaggi. I think is what his name is. Simon Biaggi, I think is what his name is. He's a good artist. Does a lot of cover art for the Wolverines back in this particular run, in this particular time. And as you can see, the book is nice. Very nice. Our next one, and we're coming close to the end, y'all. The Mighty Thor, number 34 and 35, where he's going up against my boy, the Gladiator. And anytime I see these books, I pick them up, because it's a good book, written by Jurgens, and Cubit done the art in it. And it's a real good book, man. I mean, y'all, you gonna pick it up if you see them, at least if you like some old Thor reading. Then we got, let me see. Then we got the Mighty Thor. Yeah, 483 and 484. And those are nice. This is when they didn't change his costume, and he's going through and he's dealing with some of these other folks. It's been a long time since I've read these particular stories, so I'll have to go through and refresh my memory. But anytime you see them, because you don't see them too often, at least I don't, and pick them up. And as you can see, the prices vary for some odd reason. Some are $3 and some are $4. Let's see, the next 2. Mighty Thor is $485 and $486. I always like the hero of this villain Curse that they brought in the Midgard serpent in the background. I used to like the way Simonson did the Midgard serpent. I thought that was cool. Next we got, let's see, what is this? We've got Thor 488 with Hela and Curse. And then we've got 100-page monster, the Mighty Thor number 32. And it's got all these other stories in there: to become an immortal, the day the thunder failed, this cursed earth, the meaning of Ragnarok, and more. This is a big, thick book, and 100 pages, y'all. And that was 100 pages for, what is that? $5.25. And it was still a good book, if you ever run across them. And last but not least, y'all, Superman number 145. Haven't really got into it yet, see what it is. Never seen this particular book. You know, gentleman in a wheelchair in front of the American flag and he's burning Superman's cape. Never seen this particular book before. So I don't know what all it entails, but it might be worth looking into. You know, when you see something odd, at least I do, I have to go ahead and pick it up. You know, but as I say so many times, you know, this is it for the new to me Comic Book Wednesday. As I said, remember, you get an opportunity to go back and read that scripture in Proverbs chapter 16, verses 1 through 3. But don't stop at 3. Read the whole chapter. It'll do you some good. You know, I tell folks a lot of times when they ask, what do you want? What should I start reading at in the Bible? I always tell them start in Psalms and Proverbs. You know, and it's good reading. It's understandable reading. And if you don't know, you need to ask somebody. Because we're living in the last days, y'all. And even though we like doing these comic books and different things, I'm still yet concerned about your soul. So as we say, we appreciate you. Again, like, share, subscribe, comment. And let's tune in, Lord bless, Saturday for the pickle barrel so we can take the lid off of it and see what's in there. We're going to probably doing some, well, I ain't going to tell you. I'm just going to let you see what they are. And we're going to do a couple of sets from the 70s and maybe a few from the 80s. I don't know. We'll have to see. I'm not trying to overload you with too many books at once. But I believe I like the double stack better than the single stack. But y'all can still let me know in the comments what works better for y'all, what you can see more. But again, I do appreciate it. Again, for tuning in. And as we say so many times, hey, it's fun on the porch. This is KJ signing out. God bless you, community.